Hi, I'm Perry from Rennet and Rind, and I'm here to talk to you today about something quite exciting. You've received a mystery cheese box. So that's from us. I'm a world cheese judge, a qualified affineur, and for the past year and a half, I've been putting the 5 best cheeses that I've been maturing in these maturing rooms that we're standing in now. I look after temperature, humidity, brushing, turning, washing, giving all the cheese what it needs to be its best self. And this is my selection for this month. So in your box you would have got, obviously the cheeses, pack of Perry James biscuits, because we love them, and you would have got some tasting notes. So if you don't want to hear me yabber on, you can shut down this video and use the tasting notes instead. So yeah, really excited about what we've got for you today. It's a slightly different board, not so much depth. More what I was going for this vibe is, I love the collection of words, salt of the earth, like real terroir, kind of like flavours of the region. And I think these really embody that, and they all come together really nicely. So we're going to walk through them, and I'm going to tell you why I selected them, where they're from, a little bit about them. Obviously, they're all British, which is amazing because you said no to supermarket cheese, knock those backpackers on the head, and go with something real, artisan, independent, family made, just incredible stuff. So let's move on to our first cheese. The first cheese we have up, as on your tasting notes, we'll be eating in this order. It's very important that you do that because there's a reason why I selected them in this order. So first cheese up we have is Ashcombe, which is made by the legendary cheesemaker, David Jowlett. Let me get those out of the way. He's so good at what he does as a cheesemaker down in Gloucestershire. And what you'll see is this pinkish rind. So this one's a little bit sticky. So we bring them in from David and we look after them for a bit longer. And we wash these in a brine solution. So literally washing the cheese in a water and salt, really to promote the growth on the rind. That growth is a little bit pungent, but that permeates into the cheese, keeps moisture levels pretty good, and just adds great flavour. So we do that in our rooms, and what your first visual thing you want to be seeing here is this striking line in the middle. That is not blue mould, that is ash. So this is modelled on a Morbier style, a French cheese, where they used to get the make in the morning, one wheel would be siphoned off from the Comté make, for example, or another cheese make, and they'd put ash on the top. This is medieval times. And they kind of felt that was like some protection against the flies, etc. So they did that, did the afternoon mates, squashed them together. Hey presto, you got a line in the middle. Obviously, no need for that in modern eras, but it just looks very, very pretty. So this is our first cheese. So the idea is, if you smell it, milky dairy, a little bit grassy, nutty, a little bit of that fermented edge on the outside. So a little bit fruity, to be fair. But really subtle and easy going, and that's what we want. So let's have a taste. Nice, chewy, pliant texture. The rind adds a good savoury dimension to this. The dairy, milky coming through, that nuttiness coming through, really moreish. Loads of people don't like that word, but it's just like not challenging at all. It's just easy going. Texture, so nice. But as you can see, I want to get you warmed up, nice and easy. And the flavours as we go through may bulldoze the Ashcombe a little bit, but we'll see how we get on. Next cheese up, one of my favourite cheeses, Hafod. So I haven't had Hafod for like 6 months. They had a few weird batches, COVID, had to stop-start, so I couldn't get my hands on any. So this is our first batch that we've had in 2022, which makes me really, really happy because I literally love the cheese. So let me show you the whole wheels. So this is what they come like, these ones here. And the diverse range of flora that is on the outside of the cheese is incredible. It's got this stony appearance, the moulds on there are always so diverse. And Hafod to me is a real terroir, salt of the earth, how that cheese was made that day type of cheese. And I just love when it's on form. It's just on form. Maybe I'll just leave that there. That'd be quite nice for you guys to look at, So we've got this really stuck. So it's a cheddar style, made in Wales. We've got this beautiful, deep, rich yellow cow's milk. And then on the outside, you can see some of that rind that we're talking about, that gnarly rind, which is very cool. And then we're gonna pop a little bit off. You see how I did this nose to rind, which you always should do. Etiquette dictates that you should always retain the shape of the cheese that you have. Intense flavours near the rind, in the middle a little bit creamier. The argument is that if you're in a group, you're robbing someone of all those experiences. But I always say, just get stuck in. It's the biggest compliment you can pay to a cheesemaker. I give you permission. Just get stuck in. Doesn't matter if you cut off the nose or whatever, just enjoy it. So let's go on smell. Typically cheddary, you know, that savoury edge. You can smell that acidity in the back, that tang that you're looking for. There's a little bit of nut in this actually, a little bit of kind of like fatty nut that's in there. Bit grassy. We've got a little bit of bluing that's happened in here. Judging wise, when I'm at the World Cheese Awards, that may be seen as a defect. But I think it just adds character, and because these are gnarly artisan cheeses, why not, eh? Let's give it a taste. I'm looking forward to it. That's so good. Give it a minute. Those like flavours balance so well. That tang comes in, that savouriness, which is almost white meaty. That nuttiness that's there, that vibrancy that you get from it, the grassiness that's in there. It's all going in. Incredible. Texture is good. Nip of the curd has gone well. Near the rind, where I had that bit of blue, a little bit more pungent, perfumy, a little bit of stringency delivered by the blue, doesn't ruin the experience. Towards the rind, a little bit more peppery at the back, so it claws a little bit, but not in an unpleasant way. The balance is still great. Beautiful. Hafod. Good work. Good to have you guys back. So next cheese we have up is a firm favourite of ours, like literally 40 minutes down the road, Bigod. So Bigod, made by Johnny and Dulcie Crickmore in Bungay. If you're over there, go visit them. Legends for making pretty much the best brie in the UK, right? I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, if you have a look at that, I mean, so we do 3 different profiles at Baron. We do like a young, a middle age, and an old. And they kind of, depending on what cheese balls that we put together for chefs, they complement each other in certain ways. So this has a kind of a milky lactic edge. So we went for the half mature, which is our profile, which is a thicker set of chalkiness in the middle. Our older ones have less or none at all, but they're quite strong, quite savoury, quite ammonia. Where we wanted to keep it light a bit, but still keep that creaminess in there, which is good. We got a good formulation of the rind on the outside. You've got that bloom that you typically see from brie styles, but you've got those divots where called geotrichum, is working in that rind to get kind of a good breakdown. So yeah, looking great at room temperature. So yeah, make sure you get this up, all your cheese to room temperature. So let's give this a cut. I'm going to go for the nose. See, no etiquette here, eh? I'm going to give it a go. Smooth. First up, like mouthfeel, smooth. And where the other ones had a milky dairy edge, this has a very clean cut double cream. You know, a more richer kind of one that comes in. The mushroominess from the rind really comes in there, it's noticeable. Little bit of typical cabbage, which was more familiar with a camembert. So it's just there a little bit. Really nice, brilliant cheese. 3 out of 3, Perry. Doing a good job. Next cheese up is my favourite cheese of last year. So I've been maturing up a special batch of cheeses for a chef. Actually, these behind me. After the last couple of months, you would have seen them. So these are going out this month. I've got a little bit over, so I thought I'd work them into our mystery cheese boxes. This is an unpasteurised Wensleydale style, which is made in Yorkshire Dales. And We've been dealing with them for about 6-7 months, working on some profiles, doing some different stuff. And one of the first cheeses I had off the bat was to learn how it goes, was a 6-7 month profile. Dries the cheese out a little bit, makes a different kind of concept. And yeah, I really enjoy it. And I kind of felt like this would go really well in here, considering the heights and the depths that we have of the cheese. So yeah, Wensleydale, gets wrote off because it's in vat packs and it's just horrible in kind of supermarkets. But I just love the way Old Roan tastes. I think Wensleydale should just be banned and the guys should just be doing it full time because it's just phenomenal. So, smell, lemony, yogurt. That's typical Wensleydale, what you're going to get. That kind of yogurty, Greek yogurt kind of edge, which is good. That's what you want. On the Rind, a little bit more musty, but they've been in here a while. So these are them. I should come 1 second. These are them. So they get turned once a week here. We pat them down, brush them, and I've been keeping really well. I've been really happy with them. Hopefully the chef, who I'm talking to, is really happy with them when they go out. Let's have a taste. So drier than I'm used to, but not too dry. Cleanses the palate nicely. Has more of an element of savoury in there, due to the age, I'm guessing. That yogurty element coming in, that minerality, that kind of real strong minerality that's in there, terroir kind of earthiness that's in the back note. But the one thing that just strikes me is just the longevity of it. It's still working now, still doing what it needs to do. And just Wensleydale's in the supermarket, just don't cut it, right? They're just like on there, mixed with some weird kind of fruit or something. I've seen chocolate in the days. That should never happen. This kind of like has that really long vibe, which is good. And the yogurty transform into like grassy pastures. And I think it smells remarkable. You smell it, it's just like spring. To me, it's like, when you have the smell, it's like when you have a real dry spell, like 14 days, and then it rains, and you just get that like magical smell that like permeates from like the soil. It just reminds me of that. I absolutely love this cheese. I'm just so happy to have it here. And I just want people more to respect it more, Wensleydale. It's part of our tradition, our heritage. And I think it's just such a great example of it. Final cheese up, our very own cheese called the Duke. So this won at World Cheese Awards 2018, I think, Super Gold. It's in collaboration with a farm in Lincolnshire. We love them, we love working with them. We're working on another cheese as we speak. Hopefully it comes through all right and you guys can experience that. So we've got like a bright white interior. And you see that trend happen at this time of the year with some cheeses that come through. The cheeses that I tend to see that are more higher in moisture tend to have a lot more moisture around this time and be more on the side of white than yellow, I suppose. We've got these brilliant blues that are edged in there, and then you've got this beautiful texture just on the outside, kind of gorgonzola-esque. And then a good old dusting on top of some kind of wild penicillin, which we've been working on. Let's have a smell. So it's got it's got a savoury edge to it and a biscuity, which I always find in blues, that's what I get. But it's got kind of like a bitter edge, right? And this is what this cheese is half anchored in. We want to take all the simple flavours, sweet, savoury, salty, acidity, bitterness. And bitterness we rarely get to tick in such a defined way, but the Duke definitely does that. So we've had all these beautiful, creamy, sweet, milky, some savoury flavours, and it's time for the bitterness just to kind of kick in a little bit. So let's give it a taste. That bitterness up front, bit of a tinge, very front forward. That chlorine that happens at the back, the pepperiness is there. The cream is lovely. That savoury is fighting through and working kind of against it in a really good contrasting way. And it's remarkably refreshing. It reminds me of carbonated water, like sparkling. It's got that palate refresher on. So you can just go all the way back and go all the way through. So really happy with that. Really happy with these 5 cheeses. I think it's a great selection of 5 cheeses. And I think you guys are gonna love it. So really appreciate you buying it. Really appreciate you guys supporting us. Really appreciate you guys supporting British artisan cheesemakers. Shopping artisan is so great for our local economies, just everything, you know, animal husbandry, you name it. The list is endless. So, you know, buy again. That's all I can say. Yeah. So would love, if you enjoyed this, support us on Instagram, you know, YouTube, look us up, give us a call. I love to chat cheese. So yeah, happy to help. But you guys enjoy these cheeses, and I'll catch you on the next one.